So I started with Halloween, and then I ranked the Michael Myers masks, then the Chucky movies, then the Child's Play designs, or the Child's Play movies, then the Chucky designs. And then last video was the Scream movies, so now I am doing the Ghostface killers. I think next episode I may do all characters, so that's gonna be a big one. I want a refresher and watch 5 and 6 again, probably, but we'll see. Hopefully I can get to it by next week. So how I'm going to be ranking these is there's a couple criteria. Again, there is going to be spoilers here. I mean, that should be self-explanatory because it's the reveal of all the killers, but, just fair warning in case you didn't put that together. The first criteria is the motive, and it's all based on personal opinion, but how much I liked the motive for the killer going after Sydney. Well, not always Sydney, it should be, but... And then also, how do I explain this? I want to kind of avoid the character itself. So for example, a little sneak peek, Stu. I love Stu's character in general. Like, I just love it. But I don't want him like that bias towards the killer. So I don't even know what the criteria is. I have to take in the character a little bit. But motive is a big thing. And then how surprising it is. How believable it is. There's really nothing hard set in stone. It's just kind of how I feel and what I like. I do real quick need to add my final row here. They never have an F tier in everything I see, and I like to have an F tier, even though I don't think anything would be in there, but you never know. So, first and foremost, Billy Loomis from the original 1996 Scream. He's getting S tier. Billy, as a character, was alright. It was pretty good. But as a killer, once he kind of snaps and it's revealed to be Sydney's boyfriend this entire time, that's when it really ramps up. He goes from this calm, kind of collected character to just a maniac during the reveal. The reveal, that's going to be another big criteria. So his reveal is great, where you don't, the whole time, see, it's hard for me to judge if it's surprising or not, because I've seen this movie like 100+ times, but based on the movie, I would feel like you would kind of think it is Billy, because there's some red herrings involved, and, he's got the cell phone, the gloves, and the mask was on his person, but then they tracked the phone, and I don't think it went to him, and it went to Sydney's father, and so you're like, oh my gosh, that's Sydney's father, but it's the red herring, because Billy and Stu kidnapped Sydney's dad, and we're gonna frame him, basically. So it was, you kind of thought it might be Billy, I feel like, deep down in, but you weren't sure, because there were some loose ends that needed tied up, which, no pun intended, do get tied up at the end, as well as Sydney's father. But the reveal is amazing too, where Randy is running inside, and he's like, oh my god, they've all gone mad, or they've all gone crazy, and Billy lets him inside with Sydney, and he just turns around and smiles, says we all go a little mad sometimes, and shoots Randy right in the chest, and then he scratches his head and kind of has that sick smile on his face, and he's like, Anthony Perkins, psycho, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, he just snaps completely. Corn syrup, same thing they used in Carrie for pig's blood, or same thing they used for pig's blood in Carrie. I forget how the order went, but yeah, I love Billy Loomis as the killer. He's my, spoiler alert, favorite Ghostface. He's the perfect one, and the he's the one that killed Sydney's mother a year prior with Stu. And they've been setting Sydney up this whole time to kill her on the 1-year anniversary. So just abandonment and jealousy and anger was the motive, which is a motive for a lot of killings, sadly. Greed is probably up there as well. And next up, the second killer in Scream is Stu Macher. Now, Stu as a character, like I said, is probably like S tier for me. But I think I'm gonna put Stu at a very high A for the killer. And I think that's because his motive is there is none. He's just kind of dumb and out there and very crazy and loud and obnoxious, almost the polar opposite of Billy. Billy is like the ringleader, and Stu is his dumb henchman. So, Stu is just kind of along for the ride, basically, because he's just insane, so he doesn't have the motive. And he didn't even know why Billy was doing this, because when Billy said, about his father and everything, Stu was like, oh shit, I didn't even know that, so he doesn't even know what's going on. When he finally snaps along with Billy, though, that end sequence is so great. When they stab each other, he's like, hey man, you're coming too deep, I think I'm dying here. Like, that's more the character, but oh my gosh, it's so priceless. And my favorite line in any movie ever of all time, Stu Macher, where Sydney messes with them and ends up calling the house phone, and Stu throws the phone at Billy and he hits him with the phone. That wasn't supposed to happen, I don't think, and I think he improvised, like, oh, you fucking hit me with the phone, dick. And then after that, he picks up the phone, he's like, hello, did you really call the police? And he's like, you bet your sorry ass I did. I can't do this whispering, it's gonna be hard, but Billy goes, or Stu goes, oh, my mom and dad are gonna be so mad at me. And the way he says it, it makes me laugh every time. I have a shirt that's like Stu holding the phone, and it says that on it. My girlfriend got it for me. It's just so great. I love it. So, the only thing that's stopping him from being S is the lack of motive. He's just the henchman, basically. Next up is Scream 2. The first of our two killers is... what the hell's her name? It's Mrs. Loomis. Is it Nancy Loomis? No. What's her name? Hold on. That's bugging me. They never really say it because she plays, like, you don't know that she's the actual, Billy's mom. She like, lost a lot of weight, I guess. Got a haircut, some surgery or something, and she was like a wannabe reporter. But it's revealed at the end that she's actually Billy's mom. And Sydney recognized her because when she came out, it is Nancy Loomis, okay. When she came out, Sydney's the one that recognized. It was like, Mrs. Loomis, and no one else knew that was her. Gail did. Gail says, no, that can't be. I've seen pictures of you. And Sydney's like, yeah, this is about 40 pounds and a lot of work later, or something like that. It's called a makeover. You should try it. I'm sorry, I can quote these movies. Her motive is revenge, just like Billy wanted revenge for Mrs. Loomis leaving. Mrs. Loomis wanted revenge for Sydney killing Billy. And that's pretty much it. And Sydney's like, well, maybe you shouldn't have abandoned your damn son and none of this would have happened. And, yeah, she basically, and she's the one that killed Randy. So that's a big one, too. Because when Sydney says something about Billy, and she's like, was that a disparaging remark about my Billy? And then she like basically says that, yeah, the last person that said something about Billy, was Randy, and he got it good, so. is pretty basic and solid. The fact you don't really expect her to be it, though. She's kind of like in the background the entire time. And you're like, why is this reporter popping up every now and then? And then at the end, you're like, it's almost a head scratcher. You're like, what? And then once the reveal of this is actually Billy's mom kicks in, that's really good. I don't think I really want to put it on. It's either A or B. I think I'm going to put it on B for right now. And then the second killer for Scream 2 is Mickey. What's his last name? Mickey. I almost said Mickey Mantle, baseball player. It's stumping me. I know these damn names too. Mickey Altieri. Okay, so they don't really say it that much. He, much like Stu, is Billy's henchman. Mickey is Nancy's henchman, Mrs. Loomis. His motive is to blame the movies. He's a film student along with Randy, a classmate of Randy's, and he has this idea that he's going to blame the movies, and it's going to go to trial, and it's going to be on every television, and he's going to get away with it because of the brainwashing. And basically Mrs. Loomis is like, oh, there's not going to be a trial, and she just shoots him and kills him. She was just using him for a pawn, kind of like Billy was to Stu, but they were at least friends, whereas Nancy was like, I think she met him on a website for like active psychopaths and serial killers, and yeah, Mickey signed up for it, so his motive is just blame the movies. Kind of like Stu is just kind of out there, so is Mickey, but I do like his character. Timothy Oliphant does a really good job, and he's kind of erratic and a little out there, and he says something like midway through the film. I think they're in the police station maybe or something, and Mickey was talking about Derek, I think, and he was like to Sydney, he was something like, this isn't the time. Derek should learn that it's not a time to play hero or something like that. And in hindsight, he's basically saying Derek needs to stay out of the way or he's gonna get stabbed. So his motive, and he's basically just there to be there. I'd put him at a B tier, probably behind Mrs. Loomis, because I like him as a character. And the killer reveal again was a little. The killer reveals for these two were much better. It made more sense. Whereas this was just a major surprise, because you're like, why? Who is this girl? Throughout the whole movie, and then with him, he's just kind of the crazy film student, so it's not as good as the first in terms of motives. And the reveal was a little weird, because the reveal for Mrs. Loomis was head scratching at first, and then it made sense. Whereas with Mickey, you were more like, okay, I could see it. Would I put that there, though? No, I think I like it on B. She's like a high B. Mickey's like a mid to low B. Mid B. Now, for Scream 3, this is the only solo killer, and this is Roman. Is it Pritchard? Roman Pritchard? Richard? Something like that. I actually really, really like his Ghostface. I liked this movie a lot. Just loved it as a kid. Again, I see more flaws with it as I get older. Roman's whole motive is he is actually Sydney's half-brother. And during the film, he is directing the next Stab movie, which Stab is the movie within the movie about Sydney, about Nev Campbell. Like, it's all meta and very tongue-in-cheek. And he's like, keeps rewriting the script, and the Ghostface killer is killing off the characters as they die in the script, and he's basically making his own live-action movie as it happens. And it's very surprising, because at one point you think Roman is dead, because Gale finds him in a freezer. The only issue I have with that is I think she checked his pulse. So, unless she's just so erratic and frantic that she didn't realize he had a pulse, I don't know. That's a loophole in the movie that makes no sense, really. So I gotta let that, affect it a bit, I guess. I do like him more than Mickey, though. And I like him more than Mrs. Loomis. I think I'm gonna put him in an A below Stu. In his motive, like I said, he's Sydney's half-brother, and another reason he's this high is he's the ringleader of it all. So, like, without Roman, Billy doesn't happen, Stu doesn't happen, Mrs. Loomis doesn't happen, Mickey doesn't happen. He was abandoned by Sydney's mother as a kid, and he went to find her as he grew up, and she threw him out, basically said, I want nothing to do with you. He resented that. He started recording Sydney's mother sleeping around with Billy's father, and then he showed Billy that and basically convinced Billy to, take action. So without Roman, none of this happens. And the kill is very good too. I guess I should take the kills into account. Billy has this last second where Randy's like, be careful, this is the moment where the killer usually comes back for one scare, and he pops up and Sydney shoots him in the head and goes, not in my movie. Stu gets a TV thrown onto his head, and there was always rumors that Scream 3 he was supposed to still be alive and be the ringleader from prison of this cult type thing. Mickey just gets shot by Mrs. Loomis, and I think Gale kills Mrs. Loomis, but then Mickey also comes back for that one last scare, so they do that there. And then Roman, he's wearing a bulletproof vest, but he shoots Sydney, and you think she's dead, but she's actually got a bulletproof vest on as well, and then she ends up killing him by stabbing him, and they kind of hold hands and embrace, because while they hate each other, they're like, oh, I'm losing a brother, I guess, it's that type of thing. And then he pops up for one last scare, of course, and Dewey starts shooting him in the chest in the bulletproof vest, 5-6 times, and Cindy's like, head, Dewey, head, and boom, shoots him in the head and kills him. So I do like Roman as the killer. Now for Scream 4, the first one is, oh my god, what's her name? I'm having a massive brain fart again. It's Sydney's niece. Oh, what the fuck is her name? Hold on, I'm looking up Scream 4 cast. Jill Roberts, that's it. Played by Emma Roberts. I also really like her because you are not expecting her to be the killer. She is Sydney's niece, and the whole time it looks like she's the next Sydney Prescott. The killer's going after her friends, going after her, and at the end it's revealed that she's the killer. And you're like, what the hell? It's genuinely probably the best reveal, because you're just not expecting it at all. At least I wasn't. I remember. And her motive is basically she's jealous of Sydney. She wants the attention. She wants the fame. She's so tired of Sydney Prescott and being a part of the Prescott family. Sydney this and Sydney that and Sydney. And she wants to be the it girl. So she basically frames it so she's the final girl. Sydney's gonna die. Her partner, the hell's his name too? I can't think right now. I'm having massive brain farts. It's Rory, Charlie Walker, her partner. She actually sets him up. We'll get to that in a bit. And she sets him up like he's gonna be the killer with her boyfriend. So her boyfriend's gonna be the Billy, Charlie's gonna be the Stu, and she's gonna be the Sydney, the sole survivor. that's where she gets up out of her hospital bed and goes to try to kill Sydney. And Gail puts two and two together when Dewey's like, oh, she was talking about your matching injuries. And she's like, oh, she got stabbed too. And Dewey's like, yeah. And then Gail's like, wait, how did you know I was? And then Dewey's like, oh shit. And he runs there thinking, oh my god, Jill's the killer. And then she eventually gets killed. I think Sydney electrocutes her. Another good one-liner of clear. But yeah, her reveal, her motive, everything is so good. I think it's better than Roman, maybe. Is it better? Do I put her on S tier, honestly? Oh my gosh, I think she's above Stu. I think when I take into account the motive, the reveal, the shock of the reveal, the twist at the end, I think I put her on S tier with Billy. I think I really do. I didn't think that was going to be the case, but I don't see a negative with her as Ghostface, honestly. So yeah, I guess by default she's up there in S tier. I'm sorry if you guys can hear that. I think my neighbors just started vacuuming. I did a little cut there, but it seems like they're moving away now, so hopefully the rain will kind of drown that out when I edit that in, but oh god, and now there's kids outside. When it rains, it pours. No pun intended. Or maybe it was. Not sure. And next up, we have Charlie Walker. Again, he's just kind of the henchman. She's the stew to her Billy. Well, technically, like I said, her intention is for Charlie to be Stu and her boyfriend to be Billy. I do like his character because at first he's kind of like the Randy, along with Kirby, the nerd, the know-it-all horror buff. You gotta know the rules. And he's a very charming character and nerdy character. And at the end, he's basically like, this time Randy gets the girl. He thinks, he's gonna walk off into the sunset. And nope, she turns around. And when they do the thing that Billy and Stu do, where they kind of stab in each other, she just kills him. She's like, wrong spot, that's not what we planned. And then she goes again. And yeah, it's basically revealed that she's setting him up. As far as where he ranks, he's the henchman. So he's not going to be S tier. He is not better than Stu. Is he better than Roman? I don't. Not as a character, as a killer. I gotta keep that in mind, as the Ghostface reveal and everything. As a character, he's better than Roman. As a Ghostface, I'm gonna say no. Is he better than Mrs. Loomis and Mickey? I say yes. So it's a matter, is he high B or low A? I'm gonna say low A, because I like that twist of, it's basically Randy being the killer in a sense, and it's, oh, you didn't see either of them coming, honestly. And unlike Mrs. Loomis and Mickey, they're main characters. Like, she's the focal point, pretty much, and he's one of them as well. It's like going back to Billy and Stu, where it's not just, you'll even see this later on in these, it's like Scream 6, they're not a focal point, and they just kind of like, they're head scratchers almost, I don't know. But yeah, I'd say a low A, and the reason for that, the surprise, the irony of Randy gonna be the killer this time, and the fact that he gets turned on. He thinks that he's gonna be Stu. He's, okay, just stab me, come on, get it up, and she just kills him. That was her intention the whole time, is to use him. I like that aspect of it. And now, for the worst of the worst, Scream 5 and 6. Okay, so, I'm not crazy about these movies. I don't dislike them. Scream 5 was pretty good. Scream 6 was very, very, very underwhelming. But again, this is just Ghostface. I'm gonna try to stick to that and not be biased. But as far as the first guy, I can't think of his name right now. I'm stumped on all these damn names for some reason. Richie, I remember her, Amber, but Richie Kirsch. Okay, so my initial reaction to this movie was very underwhelmed because I was expecting something different. I didn't think that they would have these two be the killers, and so when the reveal happened, I was very I guess, you know what, let me do Amber first, since she happens first. So Amber, she's another one that I totally forgot about. I was not expecting her, because to me she was just a side character that wasn't that important. I wasn't crazy about her acting, and not to hate on the actress, but I just thought it was a little over the top and too much. And when she did the reveal, who was it? One of the people was like, "Oh my god, I'm not the killer." And then she's like, "I know," and she just whips out a gun and shoots her. You're like, what the hell? Where did that come from? So it did come out of nowhere. I don't know. It was just not great. And her motive is she's just a fan of the stab films. And she wants to be in the next one. I don't even really know. She just wanted, her family bought Stumacher's house that it all happens in at the end, and she did research on the house, found out what it was, got enthralled. It's this whole like new wave of toxic fandom. That's the meta part about Scream 5, and the crime stories and people getting involved in that and getting too obsessed, and it's the whole new millennium motive. You know, no pun on the original, but, or pun intended for the original, I mean. I just didn't like it. Now, it's not F tier. F tier means this was so bad, it shouldn't have even been there. D tier is like, I can tolerate it, but I'd rather... Tolerate is the best way. C tier is... I don't know. C tier is like average. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. Okay, she's definitely at the very, you know, she's not B. I can tell you that right now. So she's C or D. I'll throw her in C for now. And then Richie. Amber was her name. Full name is Amber. Does it even say on here? Is she all the way down in the cast? Oh my gosh. Where the hell is she? Oh, Amber. What the hell? It doesn't say her full name. It's Amber. F-R-E. Hold on. I don't even know why I need to know that, but I do. Amber Freeman. Okay. I'm such a Scream nut. I want to know every and anything about the movies, even if I'm not crazy about the new ones. Now, Richie Kirsch, I like him a little bit better. He is one, I didn't expect him to be the killer at first. Again, I didn't expect either, because I thought it was going to be something different. But as you rewatch it, or as I rewatch it, I can kind of tell they have a lot of hints. So he is one of the main character's boyfriends. Kind of like, oh, he's the Billy, basically, and he acts like he doesn't even know what's going on. He's never heard of Woodsboro. He's never heard of the Stab movies. He's rewatching them on Netflix just to, you know, get up to speed, know the rules and all of that. And then once you know in hindsight, like, okay, he's trying way too hard to not know anything when he clearly knows everything. He's also a mega fan of the Stab films, and he's only dating Sam, right? Yeah, Sam. I'm getting them mixed up. To get her to set all this up with Amber, and Amber and Richie are really lovers, I believe. So It's basically they're just fans of all of these people and they want to recreate them. It is what it is. I do like Richie better though. His reveal was, oh, you don't think he's the killer, and then his girlfriend hands him the knife, like, come on, I got you, I can protect you. And then I think he stabs her, maybe. Yeah, and then he's like, you don't know how long I've been waiting to do that. And you're like, oh shit, okay. His reveal was a little better, I feel. As far as them getting killed, I do like the way Amber was killed. She got like hand sanitizer thrown in her face, which was stupid. But then she gets sent into the stovetop and it catches her on fire. And the burn was like a shout out to Freddy Krueger, another Wes Craven film of Nightmare on Elm Street. So they paid homage to that. And then Richie's death was pretty cool because his girlfriend is revealed to be the daughter of Billy Loomis. And so she has that natural serial killer instinct in her, apparently. That's okay. And she sees the ghost of her father, and he kind of appears out of nowhere and winks at the knife, and she picks it up and just unloads on him, like stab, 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 over and over. And yeah, it was kind of like nice to see him go down that way, but I still wouldn't put him B. He's definitely a C. I feel like I almost want to put Amber at a D. I'll throw her at D for now as a Ghostface killer. Okay. Oh boy. Now for Scream 6. This is easily my least favorite film of the franchise and my least favorite ghost faces of the franchise. I did not like these reveals. I did not like these ghost faces. I just don't understand it. So, the first Ghostface, I forget the order it goes in, but the police officer here, I'm trying to find his name real quick, which I'm not seeing it. Oh, come on, Scream 6 cast. Cop. It is Dermot Mulroney, Detective Bailey. Oh, that's the actor, Detective Bailey. Okay, so Detective Bailey, and then the girl is Quinn Bailey, and then the guy is Ethan Landry. So what happens is, towards the beginning of the film, like the beginning, middle, the 1/3 of the way through, you think that Quinn is killed. But it's actually revealed that her father, the detective, covered it up and helped her get away. Let me handle this. And so the whole movie, you think she's dead, and she's revealed to be one of the killers at the end, and you're like, what the hell? That's because her dad is the detective and helped cover it all up. And then you find out that this guy who the entire cast is suspicious of him. The entire cast thinks he's Ghostface. The entire cast is convinced. He says he has an alibi. They don't believe him. They got their eye out on him. They're all pointing at him. So naturally that would lead you to believe, okay, it's not him because they're trying to make it, they're all suspicious. Well, they were right. It was him. It just wasn't just him. And this is the first time we've had 3 Ghostface killers. Now, their motive, much like in Scream 2, the mother wanted revenge for her son. This is the second iteration of these reboots. The father wanted revenge for his son. So, Detective Bailey is the father of Richie, and Quinn and Ethan are the brother and sister of Richie. You don't know that until the very end, so they just want revenge. It's very reminiscent of what they did for Scream 2 and Scream 1, which you can tell the directors are kind of going in that direction of remaking them, but like rebooting them in a way. So now, for Scream 7, I feel like, I don't know, we'll see. They already kind of incorporated the whole brother-sister aspect, like Roman, so I don't know. It just didn't, I don't know. they wanted you to think that it was Kirby at first. Like, she snapped all of these years later. They were using her as the red herring. They're not F tier, I don't think. I didn't hate them that much. So I guess they'll be D tier. And I guess that, you know what, I'll put Amber up to C tier. It's a very, very low C. But she's not as bad as these three, I don't think. In order, I guess Detective Bailey first. Because I wasn't expecting him, I will give it that. I was a little shocked at the reveal. Obviously, I was shocked with her because I thought she was freaking dead. Well, I thought Roman was dead too, so maybe that's why they did it. And Ethan, I don't know, he was just, I didn't really care. I wasn't invested in these characters either, so I didn't care that much. The movie wasn't terrible, the movie was alright, but the Ghostface, the ending was so disappointing to me. So I guess I'd put them at D tier. I can tolerate them. I don't hate them with every ounce of my body, but it's just whatever. So I think that's my final list. These guys get like a 67. We'll go 65, 66, 67. That's where my ranking is for them. Amber gets like a 72, 73. Richie gets like a 75. Mickey would get like an 83. Mrs. Loomis gets like an 87. Charlie gets like a solid 90. Roman, a 93. Stu, like a 96, 97. And then, I mean, Billy's like 110. And then Jill would be 100, I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to like go based on the numbers here. But yeah, I think that is my ranking. The only thing I would move is maybe put Amber down here. But I think that's unfair to her. And I don't think I'd want them up at C. He's definitely down at D. She's more shocking. If anything, he would be at C. But I think I'll just keep it at D. So that is my final ranking, guys. Let me know in the comments what you thought about these Ghostface reveals and where you would have your rankings at. But that is going to wrap it up for this one. If you enjoyed it, be sure to drop a like, hit subscribe for more content like this, and if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for the continued support, and I'll see you in the next episode. And I just realized, I think this is one of the first times I've had double S tiers. No, the Child's Play Chucky Designs had multiple S tiers.